Hello and welcome back. So today I'm planning to review the videos that I made before I went to Orlando, explaining the things that I really wanted to do in both Universal and at Disney World, and basically going through them and reviewing what I said I wanted to do and then what we actually did. And if we didn't do something, then I'm going to explain why. When I'm filming this, the videos are still going up, and so I did just really quickly want to say thank you so much to everybody who has been watching them and liking them and commenting. Obviously I'm a very small channel, and so having so much engagement is just amazing, and every time that the subscriber count goes up I notice, even if it's just by one, and it gives me so much joy to see it going up. So thank you. I'm just going to take my cardigan off because it's getting a little bit warm. I'm not planning to show the clips from the video in this one because that would just make this video ridiculously long. So instead what I'm going to do is, if you want to go back and watch those videos, then I will link them at the end of this one. So we'll do the Universal one first, just because we started the trip at Universal, and the first thing that I wanted to do was the Despicable Me ride. We didn't get around to doing this, so it's not a very good start. From what I remember, we either had other priorities at the time we were in the park, or the wait was just too long. I can't remember what the shortest wait was. I don't think it went below 30 minutes maybe, which isn't too bad, but basically we had other priorities, and so unfortunately we didn't get to do it this trip. But I really hope that next trip I am going to get the opportunity to just jump on it and do it as like a one and done, tick it off the list. Please do let me know what your thoughts are on the Despicable Me ride. Is it worth waiting 30 minutes? Would you wait less? Would you wait more? Please tell me so at least I can prepare myself. I've just had to shut the blind because the sun was coming in and blinding me. But the next thing that I said that I wanted to do at Universal was the Port of Entry Christmas store. If you've seen the vlogs, then you'll know that we did manage to do this, and I also bought a Christmas ornament. It was bigger than I expected it to be, but if I'm completely honest, I don't think it has a patch on the Disney Christmas store, the 12 Days of Christmas at Disney Springs. I'm really glad that we did it, and I would go back, but it's not necessarily a highlight or a must-do for me. So the next thing on the list was Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure on the motorbike. And I did do this. So the first time that my sister and I got on, we had already decided that I was going to go on the motorbike and she was going to go in the sidecar. The reason for that is that we've only ever ridden it once before, and I was in the sidecar and she was on the motorbike. But fun fact, I actually preferred it in the sidecar. I think part of it is that they had these like rubber grips on the handles, and they were like, they just weren't very comfortable, and I was clinging on for dear life because, you know, it's a thrill ride. And if you want to see how much fun we had the second time, then I will put our ride photo up here. Hope you enjoyed that. Next up was the High in the Sky trolley in Seuss Landing in Islands of Adventure. This was on my list because I thought it was going to be people movery, basically. And it was, to be fair. It was very much aimed at children. There was like a voiceover that was trying to get children to interact and stuff like that, which is kind of odd, I suppose. I mean, obviously it's in keeping with Seuss Landing, but the ride itself I can sort of see being quite boring for children. And it's a shame that you can't take any photos or videos because the view from up there was so good. You could see right over the lake into the Jurassic Park area and the Harry Potter area, and I really enjoyed it. I think we said in the vlog that neither of us would wait more than like 10 minutes for it, but when we went it was basically a walk on. So it's not something that I'd necessarily want to do every time, but it was good. I enjoyed it. Next up is the Mummy. We did manage to do the Mummy, thank goodness. We went to go on it once and then the wait time was just far too long. I think when we did eventually get on it, the posted wait time was 40 or 50 minutes, and I think that was roughly correct. But we love the Mummy, and it's the perfect ride for me and my sister because I love a dark ride, she loves a roller coaster, and so it's a great one for us. It's not one for children, but if you love a dark ride and you're happy with a roller coaster, or if you love roller coasters, then this is definitely one for you. And it was definitely one for us. Next up is Voodoo Donuts, and if you've seen the travel day vlog, you will know that that was our first stop in City Walk on the first day. Well, day 0. I had 2 donuts. The first one was a maple pecan bar, and the second one was, I can't remember what the second one was called. It was some kind of cake donut, but if you want to see what it was, then go back and watch the travel day vlog, which is the first episode. That maple pecan bar was to die for. It was proper treacly, it was so soft, best donut I've ever had in my whole life. And I also need to mention that I managed to buy those 2 donuts for less than $5, including tax. I think it was like $4.20 something for both of them. Bargain. I was not expecting them to be that reasonably priced, especially after I've become accustomed to Disney prices. I think the only disappointment for us really is that they didn't do anything gluten-free. So Natalie is celiac, she can't eat gluten. And so she really wanted to try something, but she just had a mouthful of mine because that's kind of the most she can have without being poorly. So that's a real shame. So Voodoo Donuts, if you're watching, please look at doing gluten-free options. Next on the list was cowfish. If you've seen the vlogs, you'll know that we did this. You'll know that we did this twice. So we'd originally booked to go, I think it was on the Saturday night. We just loved it. It was so good. Natalie had sushi both nights. I had the burgushi the first night and then I had sushi the second night. And honestly, I still dream about it. Like, the food was just so good. And sitting out on the patio overlooking City Walk in the evening, it was just an amazing experience all round. The food was amazing, the view was amazing. I remember the service being, it was slow to take our order, but once we'd ordered, the food came really quickly, and that happened both times. Oh my god, we had the Parmesan truffle fries. How could I forget about those? They were very good as well, but I have to say the sushi and the burgushi were definitely the stars of the show for me. Would recommend. Go if you like sushi. The last thing on my Universal list was going to the crepe stand, which I think was called Central Crepes. It's in the Universal Studios park in the Central Park section. The reason that we didn't go there is just because I didn't like the sound of any of the crepes. I think really I was fancying a savoury crepe because obviously they're a lot less common. But the ones that they had, I think, had mushrooms and sweet corn, and I don't like mushrooms or sweet corn. I'm sure that previously they had like a chicken and peppercorn sauce one or something that sounded really nice. But they haven't done anything like that for a while from what I can gather from the menus. So there is a reason that we didn't eat there. I'm sure we did actually walk past the stand and I looked at the menu and was like, I'm disappointed. But that's just my personal preference. If it's something that you like, then maybe it's worth a try. So let's move over to the Disney World list now. I'm grinning because the first thing that I said was Tron Like Cycle Run. And again, if you've seen the vlogs, you'll know that we did it. Did we do it 3 times in the end? So we did it in the day, we did it twice at night, once on the front row, and twice on the back row, I think. We love a roller coaster. And I like the concept of Tron and kind of the theming and the kind of modern technology style, which I think was a big thing. But so much of it was just incredible. Like, I think it probably surpassed my I didn't really have expectations, but I think it was better than I thought it was going to be, weirdly. No spoilers, but just kind of as you go into the area, the music that they've got, like I've had that on in the background while I've been working because I just love that background music. And then when you finally get through the queue and into the building and you all go through into that first room, and the thing that happens in that room, like, is just amazing. The locker system is just genius. And obviously the ride itself is so unique. And the thing that I kind of like love-hated is when you first do the launch and you get faster and faster and faster and it feels like you can't possibly get any faster and you're just like accelerating and it's just mental. And then when you get outside, especially when it's dark, like we said in the vlogs, it's better in the dark. It's not massively better in the dark, so if you can only go in the day, it's not the end of the world. But it's just amazing, and like you can see everyone below. It's just fantastic. Obviously the virtual queue is a bit of a pain, but equally I would rather be in a virtual queue than have to stand in a physical queue for 2-3 hours. And I understand the argument from people that it eats up people so that the rest of the park is less busy, but I don't want to be stood in queue for 2 hours. So I'm very grateful for the virtual queue. And actually, again, you'll see in the vlogs that we found that the 1 o'clock drop, I think I managed to get us virtual queue at 4 o'clock one day. When we went, we were just very lucky with virtual queues, especially for the 1 o'clock drops. So make sure that you do definitely check, even if you think it's too late, you never know. Admittedly, we did get called an hour before park closing both times, so we were obviously in the last few boarding groups. But I'll stop gushing now. Tron was amazing. Would definitely recommend if you are a bit of a thrill seeker and you love a roller coaster. So the next one on my list was Guardians of the Galaxy. And again, if you've seen the vlogs, you will know that I was anticipating that Tron would be my new favourite ride, surpassing Flight of Passage. And it was, for a day and then we went on Guardians and we both just fell in love. Again, love the virtual queue, but I think it holds an extra special significance for us because my sister knew nothing about it. She didn't know if it was like a 3D ride or a roller coaster or a dark ride or what. And obviously she worked out that it was a roller coaster when we got onto it, but she had no idea that it spun. She had no idea about the music, and my lasting memory of it is the first time that we got on it. And we turned and she went, ooh, and then we started going backwards and she was loving it. And then we had Everybody Wants to Rule the World. And I just remember her sat next to me like screaming and laughing and I was just singing along, and it's just such a core memory. Like, oh, I feel like I'm tearing up a bit thinking about it. It was just amazing. And again, with the twisting, people have said it's not actually that intense, and I agree. I think you don't necessarily feel the twisting so much, and it's very controlled. It's not like, you know, being flung around sort of thing. And there's a fair amount to see in there. I mean, I wouldn't say it's, you know, the most themed on the inside, but I just love it. And I love the idea that you get a different ride with every song. I think out of the 3 that we heard, Everybody Wants to Rule the World was my favourite. I can't remember the name of the next song. Was it We Run or I Run or They Run? Something about running. That was good. And I can't remember the other song that we had. Oh, we had One Way or Another, and that was okay. But I would say that if you're okay with roller coasters, as long as they're not too intense, then I would definitely go for Guardians. I would say it's less intense than Tron. I would probably put it on par with maybe Seven Dwarfs, maybe a little bit tamer. I mean, admittedly, I am now saying this having been at Disney World a few months ago, but give it a go, definitely. Next up was Astro Orbiter, and again, if you've seen the vlogs, you'll know that we did this, and I specifically wanted to do it at night, and we did do it at night just before we got on Tron. There was a ridiculous wait. I think just because what they do is they take you up to the platform and then you stand there while another group go on, and so then they bring up the next group and then the other group go on. So you just stood at the top for like a whole run of it, I guess. The view is beautiful, but it is a one and done for me, and particularly because the wait time never really seems to go below 30 minutes. I would not wait 30 minutes for Astro Orbiter, so I'm glad that we did it. I probably won't do it again. Next up was Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. If you've seen the vlogs, you'll know my thoughts on this. I was really looking forward to it as a lover of dark rides. It was not quite what I expected it to be, and I think that was probably the disappointment that I had. We rode it twice, and I have to say it's very innovative. I did enjoy it, and actually, I can't remember if I said this, but the second time that we went on it, I actually looked back in the waterfall scene so that I could see it all changing, and that was pretty cool. I didn't love it as much as I thought I was going to love it, and I certainly wouldn't wait more than about 20 minutes for it, but I enjoyed it and I would do it again. Oh my goodness, the next one was Rise of the Resistance. I feel like I didn't actually believe that we were going to get on that ride, but we did, and it only took an hour. And the ride was down for 20 minutes of that wait. I think it was on the day that we did Genie Plus, and I still can't quite believe that we just managed to catch it. I think it was at 135 minutes, so that's what, 2 hours and a quarter. And then we just headed over there because it was dropping so quickly, and we just stumbled upon it, and we were just very lucky. It's definitely kind of a new, so innovative ride, and I mean, it's not really a ride, it's more like an experience with a ride at the end, which I know it sounds really corny, but the whole experience is probably like 20 minutes, I would guess, which is a long ride. And just the attention to detail in that last section, and just the fact that they've got actors in there that are playing the roles, and like they're paying people to do this, that, like, not just to be ride operatives. Like, it's amazing. And I mean, I don't think I've ever seen Star Wars. I'm not really interested in it. I know kind of the characters just from being a Disney and a Disney Parks fan, but even I appreciated it, and it was just so good. And I would say if you can get on it, even if you have to wait an hour, like it sucked having to wait an hour, but it was not the end of the world. Do it, definitely. Give it a go, see what you think, and just experience it, because it's so different to anything else that you will ever do at a theme park, at least in my experience. In short, loved it, would do it again. Gideon's Gideon's Bakehouse is the next one. So we went there, we queued up. I think we queued for like 40 minutes the first time, and we bought 4 cookies and we shared half each of them. I think we went for the triple chocolate, the original, the peanut butter. I think pistachio was the other one that we had. And to be honest, I wasn't that bothered. I really liked the triple chocolate one, or whatever that one's called, the one that's actually like a brown batter. That was amazing the first time we had it, and it tasted like gooey. It was literally like batter, so that one was really good. The others, I think a lot of the time it was either too sickly for me, or the chocolate was too bitter. So I think a lot of the cookies have dark chocolate, and for my personal preference it would have been milk chocolate. So we went at the end of April to the start of May, and so when May came in, the cookie of the month was white chocolate macadamia, so I bought one of those, and that one was definitely too sweet. I think it's the white chocolate with all of everything else in it. From that second trip to Gideon's, I did actually eat most of them once I got home, and I put them in my main suitcase because I obviously didn't have the space in my hand luggage, and I don't know that they travelled that well because some of them really didn't taste that great when they got back. It's not like they were gone off or anything, but I think they just didn't travel very well. So I think that is a bit of a shame, but ultimately I think I just wanted something either a bit sweeter or a bit less sickly, ironically. So Gideon's was a no from me, unfortunately. Has anyone else noticed that on my Walt Disney World list, I think I've done everything that I wanted to do so far, and this next one is no exception. So I wanted to do the Pongu Lumpia from Pongu Pongu in Pandora in Animal Kingdom. So it's a pineapple cream cheese item in, how do I explain it? I think it was kind of in like phyllo pastry from memory. It was very thin and crispy. It was so good. I mean, I love pineapple, and it was warm. It was weird, yes. Very nice. Would definitely recommend. It was sweet and creamy, and I think that's the thing, is that it wasn't really that cheesy. It was more just like pineapple and kind of like a creaminess, and it, like I say, it was warm, which I think made it even nicer because I had it in the rain. My mouth is watering thinking about that Pongu Lumpia. Next up was Cirque du Soleil Drawn to Life, and that was a bit of a cheat because we actually got free tickets included in our holiday package through Disney directly. So we did go and see it. We saw it on our penultimate night on the basis that we saw the 5 o'clock showing, and then we went back to the hotel to pack. It was good. I mean, it's more Natalie's thing than mine. She loves a circus, the experience, I guess. And I did really enjoy it in that respect, but I just felt like the story they were trying to tell was just, it didn't necessarily provide me with that much of a story, if you know what I mean. I mean, I understand there's the whole thing about the girl and what, again, no spoilers, kind of what happens, but the rest of it is all just a bit like, what? So it was good, but like I said in the vlog, I don't think I would have paid however many dollars to go and see it and to spend time that we could have otherwise spent doing something else. I don't think I'd have sacrificed that time to go and see Cirque du Soleil, personally. But it was still very good. Happily Ever After! That's next on the list, was New Happily Ever After. Happily Ever After came back just before we went, and we were so happy. We love Happily Ever After. We had a couple of unfortunate experiences with it. So the first time we saw it, it was massively delayed. Well, massively, like half an hour delayed because of rain and thunder and lightning. And then we felt like we couldn't see the projections that well because we were so close to the castle. The second time that we went to see it, we were further back from the castle, but because we're both like 5'0", it's really difficult when there's a tall person anywhere kind of in front of you, and it's even worse when they put their child on their shoulders. Why can't we all be like Tokyo and sit down? That would be amazing. But there we go. It's just one of the problems that you have when you're a short person. I think we probably had a better view the first time, actually. We didn't have anybody particularly tall in front of us, but just Happily Ever After is by far the best nighttime spectacular at Walt Disney World, and even if it is absolutely rammed, I would definitely recommend it. A lot of people say that they're not that bothered about the projections, but for me, that's a big part of it. Like, I understand it's nice to watch the fireworks, and in one of the vlogs you'll see we left just as the fireworks started, and it was nice to see them from the bus, but I feel like you're missing half the show if you don't get the projections and the music. So I would say at least once, watch it from Main Street with the fireworks, the music and the projections. Well, apparently we got a 10 out of 10 because the last one is the new France/Paris area in the France Pavilion in Epcot. We went there, I can't remember if it was on our first day or not, but we went to ride the Ratatouille ride, and we just, I mean, to be honest, we did literally just walk through, queued up for Ratatouille, and then we left again once we got off Ratatouille. But it is so beautiful and picturesque. And again, talking about crepes in the Universal section, it would have been nice to have gone and done the crepes this time, but we just didn't get the chance. And also, I'm not sure that they're gluten-free, so it wouldn't have been any good for Natalie. It is a beautiful area. We both enjoyed Ratatouille, but neither of us we weren't bothered about doing it a second time that trip. It is something I would probably want to do every trip, but I wouldn't wait more than sort of 20 or 30 minutes for it. Like I said in the vlog, I think the trackless element was a novelty, and I liked that there were 3D sets as well as screens. It felt like it was in a massive building, which I don't know if it is or not, to be fair. I suppose it is quite big. But yeah, it's a good ride, definitely, but I wouldn't wait more than 30 minutes for it. So that's it. I mean, I think we did pretty well, to be honest. So what did we miss at Universal? Despicable Me and the crepes? Was that it? If so, then I think we did pretty well. Honestly, it was such an amazing trip, and I'm actually really pleased that I vlogged it because selfishly, I am loving watching them back, and I'm sort of thinking that once they've all come out, I might binge watch the series again. And it really does mean so much that so many people have been enjoying watching the vlog. So thank you so much for your support. And if you've got any ideas as to Disney content that you would like to see in future, then please do let me know. I have got another trip coming up very soon. At the time that I'm filming this, I'm in like prep mode, trying to work out putting in passport information and ordering my currency and getting my vaccinations. So it's full steam ahead for my next trip at the moment. I think by the time you see this video you'll know where it is, but I'm not going to tell you. If you want to know where it is, then I will put the announcement video here. As always, thank you so much for watching and for all of your support. If you want to see more travel or Disney content, then you can click my face to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!